Why? Because obviously these
I am
individuals,
here with this amazing man.
Life comes with a lot of things that are already pretty set.
or at least appearing to lie different, and this does not imply that they are different. Let's hey guys, what is going on? What is going on? Welcome to Men's Morning Check-In. My name is Curtis Brooks and I am your host. Guys, this show is the first of its kind for me, and I'm super excited because it also gives us as men an opportunity to check in, and I do mean that. I do mean that, guys. It is absolutely essential that we check in. You don't have to check in with me, but check in with someone who provides a safe space where you and I can talk, get some things off of our chest. So it's super important, guys. So that is essentially the premises of this broadcast. We'll be broadcasting, Monday through Friday, starting at 7 a.m. Central Time, 8 a.m. Eastern Time, and 5 a.m. pretty early Pacific Time. So again, Monday through Friday, guys, that is Men's Morning Check-In. You'll see us here on LinkedIn. LinkedIn, you can search for me at Curtis Brooks on LinkedIn, and also on YouTube. That's Life Coaching for Men, spelled out as it sounds, Life Coaching for Men over on YouTube. And finally, Facebook. That is going to be Life Coaching, the number 4, Men. Again, Life Coaching, the number 4, and Men. So the other name wasn't available. But any event, guys, we got a powerful show for you today. This is Mind Matters Monday, guys. I had to take time with that one there. This is Mind Matters Monday, guys. I'm super excited. As I mentioned before, my name is Curtis and I am your host. Guys, I want to talk to you about confidence. I want to talk to you about confidence, getting our morning started right, talking about confidence. Confidence is not something that comes so easy, especially if it's not been given to us. And you said, well, Curtis, how do I get this confidence? And mind you, guys, I am checking comments. So if you have any comments, questions, please leave them in the comments section of this video here, be it on LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube. So I will be looking at the comments if you have any questions. So I'm here also to answer questions. So not just give you information, but also to answer any questions that you might have quickly and thoroughly as possible, guys. And also one last thing before we get into the discussion, you can reach out to me if you're so inclined to. If you have any questions or just want to get some things off your chest, my email address is going to be it's not rocket science coaching at gmail.com. Again, spelled out as it sounds. It's not rocket science coaching at gmail.com. Reach out to me again if you have any questions or some things that you want to get off your chest, guys. And lastly, one last thing, guys. This is not just a matter of speaking figuratively. This is a matter of being literal. Many of us as men are checking out. So if you're not checking, if you're not checking in with me, check in with someone, as I said earlier, that provides a safe space for you where you can get some things off your chest. And like I said, we're talking about confidence, guys. Confidence is a huge piece. And I know as men, it sounds like we should have confidence. It sounds like we should have confidence. But the truth of the matter is, not a lot of us do. And the reason why we don't have confidence can be many, from obviously many reasons why we don't have confidence. And I like to say, from suits to sweatsuits, guys, it doesn't matter. And life is sometimes, or at least people in life, we are the big pretenders, guys, for various reasons. And but life often, here's the thing, life often puts us through a test. It puts us through a test, and oftentimes our confidence is shaken up. So again, this is Mind Matters Mondays, guys, and this is what we'll be talking about. We'll be talking about not only confidence, but there'll be a next week, and there'll be a week after that. And so again, once again, we're coming on 5 days a week, guys, with a theme each week. And as we repeat those things, we'll have different discussions along with those things. But again, each theme, each a weekly theme, I should say. Again, different topics of discussion, but a weekly theme. Again, here, 7 a.m. Central Time. So, as I mentioned, confidence, guys, is not always easy to come by. It's something that we take for granted because we think it automatically shows up, and it doesn't. It has to be given. It has to be given. Walking into the store maybe just a couple of days ago with my son, and as he was walking, he was walking with his head down, and he was just kind of just singing a song and just kind of being in himself, just being a child, still teenager, but nevertheless, as he was walking across the street, I had to remind him, hold your head up, hold your head up, man. No, no, we don't do that. Hold your head up. And for us as men, sometimes it can be a challenge for us holding our head up. And I know for some of us, this sounds like it can be remedial, but I'm not going to put the brakes on this, guys. I'm not going to put the brakes on this because, again, the numbers don't lie, guys. A lot of us as men are literally checking out mentally, emotionally, and to the extreme point of taking our own lives. So I'm not going to put the brakes on this because I do care. It's not about skin color. I do care, gentlemen. So I'm not going to put the brakes on this. I'm not going to be fooled by the mirage of men who appear to be okay, and yet the statistics say something completely different. I'm not going to. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to be taken in. I'm not going to drink the Kool-Aid. So I'm going to take a stand. I am taking my stand and doing my part. And so I want you also to do your part. As I mentioned earlier, whether you're checking in with me or not, it's okay. But check in with someone who provides a safe space where, guys, we can talk and get some things off our chest, because this stuff is literally, guys, it's killing us. It's making us to the point where we're not available for our families, guys. It doesn't matter what is being said out there, guys. We are the first defense, guys. We are the first defense for our families. And if we are in a space where we are lacking the confidence, guys, to do what we need to do as men, if we are in a space where we are lacking the confidence to do what we need to do as men, guys, that means that the very defense that our family needs, the walls are down. We are rendered defenseless, guys. And we don't want that to happen. Yeah, it is a huge burden, guys. It is a huge burden that we're all taking on as men. It doesn't matter what anyone else says. It doesn't matter. You and I, as men, we have been placed in a position for a reason. And it doesn't matter what anyone says, how anyone feels about us. It doesn't matter. It doesn't take the burden away, guys. It doesn't take the pressure away. So it's important to know who we are. It's important to have that confidence that it takes to take on the very challenges that life gives to us, whether those challenges are personal, whether those challenges are professional. We need confidence, guys. And confidence is the one thing, as I mentioned earlier, it's the one thing that has to be given. One of many things that have to be given. And in most cases, we as men, we have not. A lot of us as men, I'll put it that way, a lot of us as men have not received the confidence from our own fathers. Life has a tendency of trying to beat up on us, not trying, but does a pretty good job for us, as most of us as men. It does a pretty good job of beating up on us. So that's what this show is about, guys. This show is about helping us as men to get to that place again. Most importantly, check in. Check in with someone that cares about you. Check in with someone that you can trust, someone who provides a safe space for you and I, where we can communicate and get some things off our chest, guys. So as it relates to confidence, confidence is a sure win. And confidence is not necessarily a guarantee that we're going to win all the time. And obviously, it's not about winning all the time, but it is about taking your position when our mind says something otherwise. And so that's what I want to get into in this conversation. And as a reminder, these conversations or these check ins here are anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes long daily. Once again, daily starting at 7 a.m. So, that being said, just wanted to make sure you had that information. That being said, I want to get into this Mind Matters Monday portion of it. Again, we're speaking about confidence and how at times when our confidence is shaken, what do we do, guys? What do we do when our confidence is shaken? How do we take a stand? And I want to even submit that when our confidence is shaken, our language changes. We're obviously not as confident anymore. And even in some cases, our language, it appears our language hasn't changed, but on the inside, we're shaking as a small child. And that's exactly what happens for us as a lot of us as men. We're shaking on the inside as these small children, small boys who never, who haven't been given confidence. And I wasn't always given confidence. Let's face it, guys. I wasn't always given confidence, but I had to acquire this confidence because if I had not acquired this confidence, I would have gotten eaten up. I had to go searching for this confidence. I'm reminded of a. I'm reminded of a. I'm reminded of a conversation that I was actually the movie King Richard with Serena Williams and Venus Williams, their father, who was the tennis coach, who actually had no training himself, but nevertheless he seen it in his girls, and he brought it out. He brought out the very confidence that they needed. But in particular, guys, there was a interview that was done by a gentleman, I think it was John McKenzie in 1994, I believe it was. And a clip of this interview was shown through the movie. And the gentleman who is interviewing with ABC, he asked Venus, who is the older sister, he asked Venus about her opponent that is, and this is in preparation for her professional debut. So he's asking her about her opponent, and he's saying to her, "Well, do you think you can beat her?" She says confidently, "Yes, I think I can beat her," and she was certain of that. You could see the certain of the certainty of the youth in her. You could see it. And as the interviewer, John McKenzie, he goes on to say to her, "Why? You say that easily," he says, "but why?" And then from the background, her father interjects, why do you keep asking her that? You keep saying the same thing, to the point where he came out and was dramatically, in dramatic fashion, how King Richard did in the movie, in dramatic fashion, he came out and saying, "Why do you keep asking her that question?" And I'm going to submit that life has a tendency to ask us the same questions. Perhaps not as the interviewer was asking Venus Williams, but it asks us those questions to feeling it almost like it's berating us, just repeating the same thing. And over a period of time, it plays against our confidence. And though, as I watched the movie, I was like, wow, this is absolutely awesome, because I don't think many people would have caught that. I don't think many people would have caught that, but her father did. And how many times throughout the course of a day or our lifetimes, gentlemen, that we are berated with questions, perhaps not by someone on the outside, but here mentally, we're berated with questions concerning our confidence, concerning who we are as men, societal views and opinions and things of that nature. We're bombarded with these questions that start in here. Quietly to ourselves, we can have the very appearance of someone who is confident, statuesque, essentially just looking the part. Again, someone who's very confident, but on the inside, we've got a barrage of questions being thrown at us with the very purpose, as this interviewer was interviewing Venus Williams, with the very purpose of shaking her confidence. Oftentimes, guys, life, and I want to say that I like to call it, excuse me, I like to call it the enemy of our thoughts. If you don't think there's an enemy of our thoughts, and some would say the devil or some kind of opposition that shows up, if you don't think there is opposition, you are sadly mistaken, gentlemen. The reality of it is that many of us don't want to hear that. Many of us don't want to have these discussions. Oh, because it's not real. Folks, gentlemen, they are real. They are real. It's not just the poor people who are taking their lives. It's the very well off. It's the affluent. It's those who are influencers who are taking their lives, gentlemen. So please don't get mistaken by status. Don't be fooled by the model in the window. Don't be fooled by the form, guys. Don't be fooled. Understand, whether you're in suits or sweatsuits, all of us are dealing with something. And at some point in life, confidence can absolutely be shaken. Even if you've been given confidence from your father or someone who's close to you, a mentor or a coach, not all of us have an opportunity to have coaches or mentors. So I just want us to be aware of that, guys. This is not an easy conversation to have for a lot of us as men, but it's an absolutely needed conversation. We can't allow ourselves to fall into flaky realities or hocus pocus realities, guys. Let's face what's in front of us. And oftentimes, again, these are the various reasons why a lot of us as men are checking out, guys. I know, again, these are not popular conversations, but the reality of it is that we are checking out. We're checking out because somewhere along the way, whether it's confidence for one man or yet something else for another man, we've been shaken to the core. And it's these conversations, guys. It's these conversations that often get into our heads. The conversations that no one is talking about, guys, that we're all having. Some of us, even to get out into our car, to go driving, to go to work, to do just daily tasks, are having this dialogue in here. And so broadcasts such as this here, Men's Morning Check-In, and other shows that are along the same lines, they're important, guys. It's important for us to check in. Again, creating that safe place, someone that you trust creates a safe space for you, and you feel comfortable talking to them and getting some things off your chest, by all means do so. Because the weight of pressure, of taking the lead, of the weight of pressure when it feels like the world is trying to even strip us from something, almost feeling like as men we are being dethroned or something like that. It's pressure, guys, because at the end of the day, it's a position that's been given to us. And this position cannot be taken. It's something that's wired in us. It's how we're made, how the machine was put together, how we were created. So we must acknowledge, guys, that there are these conversations or that dialogue that's going on. And the same way that the interviewer asked Venus Williams the question, why? You say it very easily, he says, but why? Life and its multitude of questions, guys. Confidence is making a decision. Above all, guys, confidence is making a decision. Confidence is having something proven to you. Not what someone else proves to you, but what you've seen through your own work. What you've seen through your own work. What Venus Williams had seen eventually through practicing. What Venus Williams would see through her father coaching her. It's not what others see, what other people see. It's what you see. And for many of us as men, gentlemen, we have not seen the confidence. And if we have not seen the confidence, we for surely cannot demonstrate it. Men, you have been given a position, a place of royalty. And I say that with the sincerest of hearts. And I know that this is a burden. I know it's a lot of work, regardless of the thoughts that others may have about you and I. Let's get to the place where we're confident within ourselves. And to get to that place, that means that we have to let go some of the opposing thoughts, or many of the opposing thoughts, the thoughts that represent opposition, if you will, so that we can come into this confidence. We have to be prepared to fight those thoughts back. Just as Venus Williams was asked the question, why do you feel so confident? You say it so easily. She wasn't able to fight with a grown man verbally, being able to take a stand. So her father, her coach, had to jump in and take a stand for her. Because I doubt at 14 years of age she could have had a verbal battle with this gentleman and come out victorious. He would have probably pummeled her by way of words. And that's essentially what all this is about. It's a word battle because the words mean what they mean. It doesn't matter what we think or how we feel. The words mean what they mean, gentlemen. And because the words mean what they mean, they produce fruit after their own kind. And so for some of us as men, we're lacking a confidence that's needed. So today I want to encourage you to check in with someone who creates a safe space for you. Get those things off your chest that are concerning you as a man. And I'm not speaking of a man in, I guess, in the general sense or the sense of some man beating on his chest, caveman, or anything of that nature. I'm saying representing it as a human being. That you've been given a position. And it doesn't matter what anyone thinks, guys. That's the wonderful thing about this. And we as men can find ourselves feeling as if we have to let go and let go of something else and let go of yet something else to the point where we're feeling like we've been stripped of something. To the point where it can absolutely feel where there's no dignity left. So this broadcast and future broadcasts, as we are discussing here on Men's Morning Check-In, are absolutely going to be about encouraging you guys. As well as I'm encouraged by doing this broadcast. This is my purpose. And the wonderful thing about confidence is that once we can rid ourselves of those opposing thoughts, the opposition who wants to defend its own goal, its own reasoning, whatever that reasoning may be, the opposition that shows up. Sometimes the opposition, or a lot of times the opposition shows up in the way of our family members, our kids, our wives, our significant others. And that's why it's important, guys, for us to have this confidence, because our confidence needs to stand alone. Our confidence cannot and should not be based on how our wives and our significant others, how our kids feel about us. Yes, it's absolutely important to demonstrate ourselves or to show ourselves approved in the sense that we are taking care of our families, we're providing, we're not only being providers but being protectors. Protecting pieces is huge as well. And when I say protecting, I'm not speaking of in the way of guns and knives and arsenal of weapons. No, words also protect too. Words also make our children, our wives, our significant others feel confident. So it's absolutely important, gentlemen, that we are speaking kind words to our families, our children, our wives, significant others, people we care about. But even before we can get to speaking those kind words, guys, gentlemen, the kind words have to be in here. The kind words have to be in here. And oftentimes, it is the opposing thoughts that try to relegate our esteem, if you will, that try to relegate our confidence, that try to bring down the steam, the fire, if you will. The thoughts try to put us on simmer, if you will, and so that we're not as effective. We're less effective when we're on simmer. So, guys, it's important that confidence shows up. As I mentioned, confidence shows up because we have to be prepared to do the battle, do the work of deflating the ego of the opposition, if you will. And as I've been sharing with you in the interview during the movie King Richard, where uh, Richard Williams, Venus's father, during the interview, he comes to the rescue of Venus during this interview, where the interviewer with ABC, John McKenzie, says to Venus, a 14-year-old, "You say it so easy," as she's preparing to uh, have her professional debut, and she's got this second seed opponent, if you will, or ranked number two, and she's up against someone who's been playing professional tennis for quite some time. So the interviewer, John McKenzie, says to her, "You say it so easy," as she's displaying this confidence. And he asks her, "Why?" And her father steps in and says, "Why do you keep asking her the same thing?" He says to her, "You're dealing with an image of a 14-year-old child." And I'm sure that John McKenzie was absolutely aware of that. And for some of us as men, it's that 14-year-old child that's been dealt with. It's that 14-year-old child that came up against that adult man, adult woman who felt like, or it made us feel like it crushed our dream, had taken something away from us. But on this day, Venus had her father to step in. Who's stepping in for you? Who's stepping in for you, man? When your confidence is shaken? Who's going to speak on your behalf, man, when your confidence is shaken? Some of you may not have come to hear this, and I hope that you'll listen to this or watch this replay here. But I want to share with you the one person that I found that displays all the confidence in the world. Yes, you may have guessed it already. His name is Jesus. So more than just trying to come in my own strength, I couldn't do it. In my own understanding, as I sit here and share with you confidence, what happens when your confidence is shaken? You need someone to speak on your behalf. I may not always be there to speak on your behalf, or someone else may not always be there to speak on your behalf. But there's a place that you can go to and find out who is speaking on your behalf. It's called the Bible, the Holy Bible. So as a believer, as a Christian, it's important for us to have these check-ins. You don't have to be a Christian. You don't have to be a believer. But you do have to understand it's not so much a matter of what you believe as it is who you believe. Because ultimately, it's our thought system, guys. We're saying with our mouths one thing, but our thoughts are saying something completely different. Sorry about that. I had to look and see how long I've been on. Wow, I've been on a half an hour. This was not intended to be a half hour, guys. Wow. So, guys, let me wrap this up. Let's continue this conversation tomorrow, guys. Let's do that. Let's continue this conversation tomorrow. We're talking about confidence. We're talking about confidence. We've been talking about confidence. And what happens when our confidence has been shaken up? It will happen, and it can happen. So, guys, that being said, I'm going to wrap it up and say again, my name is Curtis Brooks. It has been absolutely wonderful being a host of this broadcast here, and this is Men's Morning Check-In. Hope to see you tomorrow at 7 a.m. Central Time, 8 a.m. Eastern Time, and 5 a.m. Pacific Time. Guys, tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., we'll see you there. And for now, we will say ciao. For now, we'll continue this conversation tomorrow, guys. See you later. Bye-bye. Now, bye-bye. Why? Because obviously these
Being here with this amazing man.
Life comes with a lot of things that are already pre-established.
or at least appearing to lie dormant. This does not imply